let's start with opening statements. Even though they're running together, they still are running for different positions. So each candidate will give their own opening statement. Right, Lisa? Or is that wrong? I just realized we didn't talk about that. Are we going with what I just said? All right, we're going with what I just said. Cool. They do not look prepared for that. Should we do it the other way?
Wait. I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm so sorry. We were under the impression that we were going to do one opening statement, one closing statement, but we can do either one.
Okay, they're going to do one opening statement. That is my fault. I should have asked that ahead of time. All right, so they'll have 2 minutes for their joint opening statement. Lisa, are you ready with the time? All right. Salma and Laura, your time will begin right now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Salma Pacheco, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. This is my running mate, Laura De La Garza, and she's running for Executive Vice President, and her pronouns are she, her, and hers. We both believe in advocacy, transparency, and accountability. And what that means is we advocate on behalf of students. We are as transparent as we can be for the students to get adequate information from us. And we believe in accountability. We believe that because we represent the student body and because we have to voice your guys' concerns and experiences, that it's our job to hold other members of the same community to the same standard that we hold ourselves. So we believe that accountability, transparency, and advocacy on behalf of students is super important. And we hope that you guys can voice your concerns, experiences to us. So we are louder together, and thankfully my running mate is an amazing person, and I can't wait for you guys to see all of the work that we do together. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that opening statement. My apologies for the confusion, but we're going to move swiftly ahead to the next portion of the forum, which is the general questions. And these you will each be answering separately. For this, there's only one question. And so today's question is, cooperation is key to an effective board. What examples can you provide of your ability to work with and lead others towards completing a common goal? So we'll start with Salma. You'll have 1 minute to respond to this question, and your time will begin now.
Okay. Hi, so I have a lot of experience actually in coordinating and working with others in professional settings. So I've run the Junior Legislators Program in Southern California, which that was a cohort of over 40 plus students that I ran and advised. I work well with other board members as I've sat on different boards. That being said, I love to coordinate with others and really highlight other people's experiences and to collaborate for the common goal. So if I can take ideas from everyone to formulate the best plan on behalf of students, that is what I'm going to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Salma. And Laura, what examples can you provide of your ability to work with and lead others towards completing a common goal? You'll have 1 minute to respond, and your time will begin right now.
Thank you for your question. So I believe that since I have had previous experience, not only at being involved in my university, but also outside of Sacramento State in leading groups, such as me doing things such as coaching and, just getting involved with my overall community to lead bigger projects, I feel fairly confident that taking on this position as vice president along Salma is not going to be a problem, because I am a very outspoken person and I have found a love for advocating that I just cannot seem to get away from. And I think that with the time that I've also previously been serving on the board, I am the most qualified to be in this position. And cooperation has to do a lot with being together, having a board that works well together. So that would be some of my experience serving on the board, and then just previous leadership experiences that I've had throughout my time at Sac State and outside. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We're off to a magnificent start. So that was the general question portion of the forum. So let's dig a little bit deeper and start asking some positional questions. We're going to start with Salma as she is running for president. And so my question for the presidential candidate today is, the president of ASI has an important role in setting the tone for the year. What tone would you want to set, and how would you go about setting it? Salma, you'll have 1 minute to respond to this question, and your time begins now.
Thank you so much for this question. So going back to what we believe, which is advocacy, transparency, and accountability. So setting that tone means being the example. So how can I show others by leading by example? So advocacy for students. I want to highlight student voices and their experiences. So that means having an open door policy so I can hear those concerns and they can come to me. Transparency, making sure that they know how to reach me, knowing what's going on, knowing how to come to board meetings or how to even submit an online message to us. And also accountability. Setting that tone is making sure that everyone who is on the board is doing what they can and is executing their responsibilities, and how I can better serve others to accomplish their goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salma. And now a question for the executive vice presidential candidate. So Laura, your question is, the executive vice president is responsible for assisting the ASI committees and work teams. What role do you think committees and work teams should play at ASI, and how would you help them accomplish that role? You'll have 1 minute to respond, and your time begins now.
Great question. So as some students might know or not know, there is a ridiculous amount of committees, and we need student representation. And sometimes it might be a struggle for students to understand the importance of those committees. But I think it comes down to us communicating to the students that this doesn't only, put you as serving in a committee, period. This advocates for something bigger. It almost creates a domino effect. And this is why our slogan is Louder Together, because we believe that if we bring the students together and we both, we all advocate and essentially make this college how we want it to be, that's what it's going to be. This time is the time that you're supposed to remember always, and you're supposed to grow within yourself, individually, you discover yourself. So those committees have a significant importance in ASI, and I believe that would be my final answer to that question.
All right, thank you very much, Laura. So we have completed the positional question portion of the forum. So can you believe it? We're already at the closing statement. And so just like in the beginning with their joint opening statement, they will give a joint closing statement. And so they'll have up to 2 minutes for their statement. Are you two ready? All right, your time will begin now.
All right, so first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that was present at the forum, that was watching, or anybody that's going to be watching this. It's going to be recorded, it's going to be posted, and I am hoping that you are able to learn a little bit more about us as individuals, and the work that we are going to do together the next academic year. We went into this position very confidently, and we know what we are capable of based on what we have done in the past as individuals. So with that being said, I hope that we can count on each and every one of your votes on April 7th on April 7th. So we can, April 6th and 7th, I'm sorry. April 6th and 7th, and we are hoping that we can become louder together. This university is student ran. This is our university, and there shouldn't be a reason for a student to be left silent. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so now it's time for, I think this is a really exciting part of the forum. Any attendees who are here online or in person have the ability to submit questions that will be asked of the candidates today. I can see we already have a couple. Oh, we have one in the Q&A box, but we'll just take a second and see if any more come in. Candidates, take a drink of water, take a breath. Lisa, take a drink of water, take a breath. I'm going to take a drink of water and a breath, and we'll come back in just a moment. And just a reminder for anyone who is getting ready to submit their question, make sure you put your name so we know who you are. We will not be accepting anonymous questions. And these questions will be asked of both candidates as a joint since they are running as a presidential ticket. So we do have a couple questions here in the Q&A box. I'm hoping a couple more come in as we go, but let's get started. So the first question is from Sandra. And so the question for both candidates together is, name specific examples of how you will personally engage students to join university committees. So you'll both together have 1 minute to respond. And your time will begin now.
This is an amazing question, and thank you so much, because I believe that student engagement is super important. And that being said, is we can go into classrooms, we can table, we can go on Instagram and reach out to students specifically, we can join clubs or go to joint councils to really advocate for ASI. So if there's a committee like finance and budget, we should go to the business college and maybe start pulling students from there. So figuring out what issue area is important to specific colleges and advocating, hey, this looks great on your resume. Come and join us, advocate on behalf of yourself and your college, and let's make this like campus even greater. So student engagement is super important. I'm really happy with this question, but it's really doing like grassroots work of going into the community or going to our constituency and truly talking to students and mapping out.
All right, that's time. Thank you, Salma.
Good job. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to mark that question as done. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Here's our next question, also from Sandra. Here's the question. What will you do to increase board attendance at the weekly board meetings? So 1 minute for both of you to respond, and your time will begin now.
You know, from previously serving on the board, I know that this is a little bit tricky to accomplish. But let me just begin by saying that a lot of students do not know what ASI is, or, you know, that we are even on campus, or that certain services that they use or resources are from ASI. One example is the student shop. A student who is graduating Sac State cannot avoid the student shop because that is where you get your graduation gear. So with that being said, I think that starting from the very, very bottom, educating the students on what ASI is, not just student government or the board of directors. You know, it's educating on, hey, there's this free rental desk at the aquatic center. There is the food pantry who helps you with food insecurity in case you're going through some sort of troubles. So I think just starting from the very bottom and working our way up, and then essentially kind of piggybacking off the question that Salma had, is educating and see how this is going to help them in, their time at Sac State.
Great, thank you for your response there. I didn't push the button. There we go. All right, on to the next question. This one's from Kayla. And the question is, what specific causes do you plan on championing if elected? So you'll have 1 minute to respond to the question and your time begins now.
Thank you so much for this question. So there's a few specific issue areas that I find super important, and one is legislative cleanup. So what that means is there's specific legislation that Sac State has, and the board can actually pass legislation. So I would like to go over and see, I mean, even Ed Mills has mentioned it during one of our meetings, that there's certain things that we can do at Sac State that he wants to see us accomplish. And one of that is to pass legislation or to get rid of legislation that doesn't serve us anymore. Because I mean, as our institution grows, so should our rules and regulations. So I think doing a legislative cleanup is super important, and also academics. So how can we better serve students by creating more things and supporting them academically?
Thank you very much for your response there. I'm going to mark that one as complete. All right. Next question, also from Kayla. The question is, a campus program wants to partner with ASI and reaches out to you to launch an event. What do you do and what do you consider when you get this request? 1 minute on the clock and your time will begin now.
Very good scenario question, because this is definitely something that happens very often, and and vice versa. We partner with our campus partners. So what do you do? So obviously, I think the first thing to do is to have a meeting and to really discuss what the essential goal of this event is and how we, as board of directors, or us, Salma and myself, how we can help support that. One of the things that, well, not one of the things, many of the things that we consider when taking on this request is just making sure that we are able to fulfill it to its full capacity. Because, it's very disappointing, and it's not just, through ASI, just in the world in general, to take on a project and not be able to fulfill it to its full extent, or to the amount of time that, or the amount to not be able to fulfill it, period.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. We got another question. This one is from an audience member here in the webinar. Which is very exciting. I was about to encourage everyone, don't be shy. Please ask your questions. We want to hear from you. So if anyone else in the audience has any questions, please submit them now. But we will go ahead with this question from Alex. The question is, what do you think will be your most challenging task if elected? So you'll have 1 minute on the clock and your time will begin now.
Thank you, Alex, for this question. So I feel like the most challenging task in any capacity is getting everyone on the same page. So it's starting out with a solid and clear, concise plan of what our goals are for the year, and making sure everyone on the board agrees and is prepared to accomplish these goals collectively. Also, student engagement is a super difficult thing to have, specifically because we are a commuter school. Like, that's what Sac State is kind of known for. Because it's a local campus. But even though that's the reputation that we have, it doesn't mean that we can't increase student engagement. And although it'll be a challenging task to get people to go to board meetings or to express their views and their concerns, I believe that collectively as a board, or between me and Laura, we will be able to accomplish this no matter how difficult. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your response, and thank you, Alex, for that question. I'm going to give us just 1 second to see if any other questions come in, but if not, then we'll start to wrap up. So let's just wait 1 moment, see if anything else comes in. All right, so no other questions have come in. Thank you for the questions that were submitted, and thank you, Salma and Laura, for your responses to them. I think this was a really great forum. Sadly, this is our last one. We had 5 forums, and now that run of forums is over, and I'm so sad because I always have so much fun hearing everybody's responses to their questions. And so, but we don't just do this for the fun of it, even though it is, I think, a blast. Maybe it's just me. But we do these, like I said in the beginning, we do these to get us ready for the ASI student government elections, which are starting tomorrow at 8 a.m. So please make sure you vote. Make sure you are educated on all of the candidates, not just these 2. And you can do that by going to our website, asi.csus.edu, and going and just looking through all of the candidate information that's listed on the candidates page, or you can go into the voter booklet and read the same information that way. So yeah, make sure you know your options and who you want to vote for so you can make an educated decision. Like I said earlier, the polls will be open continuously online from 8 a.m. on the 6th, which is tomorrow, to 7:30 p.m. on the 7th, which is Thursday. And during that time, we'll also be having some really fun events. Tomorrow, we'll be having our ASI elections kickoff. And then on Thursday, right when the polls close at 7:30, we'll be having our election results party. And that is when we will find out who will be our board for the coming year. I really encourage everyone to go to both of those events, but really the election results party, because what an exciting time. Oh, also, I forgot to say when and where the kickoff is. The kickoff is from 12 to 2 tomorrow on the well lawn. So it's that big grassy area in front of the well. There's going to be lots of fun things. There's like axe throwing, and I think there's Jamba Juice. So, I mean, if nothing else, you got to go for that. That's just saying. And then the election results party is from 7 to 8:30 in the Riverview conference room, the Elderberry and Beetle conference room. So I hope to see everyone there. Thank you so much for coming today, everybody. Thank you for your questions. We really appreciate you having you here. And make sure you vote. Stingers up. Thank you.